We're back with another episode of Shhh We're in Conversation. I'm here with Rehana, and Rehana, we know it's been a pretty crazy week in Joburg without electricity. Could you give us some more info into that, please?
Well, I don't know what a week it's been. It really was a very severe cold front with snow across many parts of the country, and Johannesburg being also caught in the grip of the cold front, and in the area of both the barefoot space and surrounding areas. There had been no power on these really cold days, as had many other areas across Johannesburg experienced that. And I think it was a real reminder of the resilience that one requires, that other people actually live like that on a daily basis. And certainly for me, how thrown I was by a series of events, non-collection of refuse for 3 or 4 weeks, lack of water, and then power going down for 2 days in the midst of a really, really cold front and no sun, and that meaning that even one's investment in solar was not particularly useful, and just a reminder that we're not always in control of everything.
So, Rihanna, I'm taken aback by your statement on how thrown you were. I think we as individuals, certain individuals, get the chance to call ourselves privileged. And I think we need to think more about others who don't have that sort of privilege in life, where even if we don't have electricity, you still live behind a house with walls and doors. Could you talk more about how this might have impacted the person that does not have those luxuries?
So Adil, I mean, of course, I think, as you're saying, right, being thrown by circumstances like that is actually, the problems of the privileged. And I think on those bitterly cold nights, a reminder, and certainly in my mind, the memory that there are many, many people in our city who sleep under bridges, who live on sidewalks, who live in informal settlements, and that in many ways this is their daily reality. And again, a reminder of the many, many things that one takes for granted, and including myself. Just the assumption that when you open a tap, there should be hot water, that when you dispose of your garbage, it should be collected. And a reminder that even when you have all the means in the world, there are times where things don't work according to the way you plan, and then you just need to surrender.
So, one thing that also I found quite intriguing during this time was, without TVs and computers, the ability to just sit still. How important do you think that is in modern life, just sitting still and letting go?
So it's interesting, a few years ago when load shedding in South Africa was at its height and kind of electricity blackouts were happening daily, on schedule even. For a lot of people, they said whilst it was difficult to adjust, they did find themselves communicating, having human-to-human communication, and a lot more of that than they would have when the power is running and the devices are on, and there's no shortage of devices, whether it's iPad, laptop, a phone, a TV. And I think, in a conversation I was having with a friend this week, we were reflecting on the pace at which people are moving, particularly in a city like Johannesburg, but indeed I think across the world. This notion that a badge of success is how much you have on your plate and how much you're running. And a constant reminder to myself that these moments of pause, these moments of shh, are actually very important.
Yeah. So another thing that comes to mind is when you are paused, you as you said, have more time with your family. How important is that time with your family to just connect and talk about things that otherwise, if you didn't have a TV, you wouldn't have spoke?
So I think it's not just family, Adil. I think there's the need for silent time, pause time, firstly to connect with the self, because so often we're so busy doing, that we don't have time to connect with the self. Then, of course, depending on what one's faith-based belief system may be, there's also the time to connect with whatever you believe to be a higher power, and to take the time to connect with the creator of the universe. There's also the time to connect with the natural environment. And then, of course, as you're indicating, the time to connect with those we love. That might be family, it might be friends. And I think those are always special times. I mean, this past week, we had both a wedding in the family, and then my mum turned 80. And in all of those gatherings, the thing that kind of stood out for me is really the conversations around memories of times when people connected with each other.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what happened today. We actually connected with some kids from an informal settlement called Silver Park. I want to touch on what happened at Play in the Park today. I think it was quite exciting.
Well, those of you who know Barefoot Facilitator would know that we've been doing Play in the Park for a good couple of years now. Really kicked off based on toys donated by friends, really beautiful toys, good quality toys. And we've developed a little bit of a rhythm, and once a month we invite in children from the Crosby neighborhood. Some of them happen to be from the informal settlement, some of them are from the surrounding neighboring community. And they come, we're at the park, Sir Drummond Chaplin Park in Crosby. The toys are put out and we play. But of course, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Tseke Kadimeng and Sinem Mystery and the work that they're doing on Save Our Soil movement, or Save Soil. And between Sinem and Roxanne Duplessis of Reimagine 2050, they really got the kids immersed in the spirit of Save Soil. Sinem was teaching them the Save Soil dance, and Roxy was introducing kids to the difference between sand and soil. And of course, we normally give the children a fruit every month, but today was delightful. The children actually turned that fruit into a fruit salad and were making the fruit salad themselves. And my joy, of course, was watching the kids making mud cakes and mud pies. That's certainly something I did a lot of in my childhood. And just this connection with the soil. And it was interesting to see the children coming in quite lethargic and leaving the session after having worked with soil pretty energized.
That's so awesome, Rehana. I think we had a blast today at Play in the Park. It was fun for everyone, including myself. And thank you so much for your time this week. We'll be back with another episode of Shhh We're in Conversation.
Thank you, Adi.